Jeff, I met you on the set.
That's right.
I talked to all of you guys. We've got a piece coming up on our third hour of Today Show in the next week or so. But I was curious, they didn't seem to know, I mean, they know what's happening with
Right.
each script. Do you know where all this is going?
So when I went in and pitched the show to NBC 2 summers ago, I laid out pretty much all of it. I laid out pretty much all of it. The fact of the matter is that it's a big gamble when a studio and network takes a chance on a show like this, right? It's not a show with just a standalone medical mystery every week and you can just run it forever, right? It's one continuous story. And so Lost, I think, knocked it out of the park.
Right.
Other shows have tried to imitate that. Some never found their way. They get canceled. They become lost.
I see what you did there.
You see what I did there? Okay, good. Thank you. So anyway, I felt that it was very important that NBC know that I had a roadmap. And so when I went in and pitched the show, I laid out pretty much the full architecture of season 1, most of which you've seen now. You've got one more to go. And then I let them know what the big goalposts were that we were going to hit in some subsequent seasons. And then I alluded to what the ultimate end game looked like. The only people who really know exactly what's going to happen are my writing staff. As for my friends over here, when I'll let them speak for themselves, but it's kind of been on a need-to-know basis.
Here's the thing about Jeff Rick. When he's super tired, he lets things slip. So my vow is to keep you tired
Smart.
for the next few seasons.
Right. Clever.
Is that what's part of the fun of doing this show, that you don't know where you're going?
I think so. I think it adds to our characters and adds to us as actors playing this part that we don't know, and we're figuring it out as we go along. And I think that's important for us as we go along. But now I'm starting to want to know more.
Yeah.
So, Jeff, let me buy you some drinks.
Yeah. A couple glasses of wine.
Sounds great.
Yeah.
How about you, JR?
This is the first time I didn't want to know anything being a part of a show. It was really nice to be surprised in the moment as you're reading these amazing scripts that are coming through. But I did have a moment, a bit of a breakdown, where I talked to one of our executive producers and I had Jeff come. Thank God Jeff was in town that week, and I was just like, buddy, I feel like I'm floating. why am I, who is this new guy? Why am I here? Why am I saying this? I was like, you never want to, as an artist, you always want to have your 2 feet on the ground. So I did feel like I kind of was floating a little bit. So I was just like, give it to me, But it was towards the end of the season.
Just tell us, Jeff.
Yeah.
Just tell us all here.
Yeah.
You're going to know a lot more next week.
They won't tell anyone. Yeah, right?
Justin, keep an eye.
Because it's not like, they tweeted or anything. Yeah. Is the secret to a show like this, so that we don't get frustrated, you've got to let us in on stuff, but you have to then have something else happen or some other question that remains unanswered?
Yeah, look, it's a tricky cocktail of storytelling, right? You want to hold on to as much as possible so that the mystery remains tantalizing, but you don't want your viewers to become overly frustrated, right? And so, look, a lot of you, I'm sure, see me on social media because I pay close attention, and I'm on Twitter and I see what people are putting up, and I look at the Facebook pages and other things. So I'm aware how people react, and I know there have been episodes when people felt like, well, there wasn't enough. I didn't get anything out of that episode. I mean, it was interesting, but you didn't move the ball forward. Then there are other episodes where we really moved the ball forward. And so it's a delicate thing because you don't want to burn through too much story too fast. I'm hoping that we're on the air for 5 or 6 seasons. And so I try to pace it out. I hope you all agree. This was a significant episode that you just watched. And after you watch the finale, I hope you'll feel like it's been enough to satisfy your season 1 curiosity. It was always my intention to end season 1 exactly where we end, and so you let me know. I'll let you know. I'm curious to hear what you think.
I've always wondered, when you guys start off, you're kind of strangers. You're not, close pals. But as this goes along, how much does your proximity with each other, getting to know each other, getting to be around each other, help improve the program?
Unfortunately for Josh, I was his sister in the chem read, and I called him out because he said a word wrong. And I thought that he hated me, but I think it was the start of a beautiful friendship, right?
That's right. It's the start of a good brotherly sister relationship. No, I think that does help. I think that quality of knowing each other and being together and hanging out definitely helps. I mean, we're all pros, professional actors up here, and we all can do the job, as it requires us. But, I think knowing each other and hanging out and just definitely helps. And it helps it helps bring a history to the screen and to the characters that I think is really important.
Yeah, and thankfully we all get along very, very well. And so it's rare and it's really nice. Yeah.
I mean, that's what I was going to say. Is like at the end of the day, yeah, we are all professionals, but sometimes, unfortunately, in any business, you kind of have. Sometimes you don't really mesh, or for whatever reason, egos gets involved. Or it's a tricky business sometimes. We've all had our moments.
What's happening?
Yeah, what's going on? I agree. But this.
Does somebody work with them?
Yeah.
They heard ego and started laughing. That's why I'm concerned.
I've been on TV sets for 20 years. These are the loveliest group of human beings. I feel so lucky to work with them.
Jeff, how difficult was it casting? Because chemistry is so important in this business, and you have struck gold in this cast. But I would imagine it's kind of a crapshoot sometimes.
It's always a gamble. You write something, there it is on the page, and then who are going to be the people who bring these words to life, and that can make or break a show. In this case, obviously, it's made the show, and the words come to life when you find incredibly talented actors to come in and embody your characters. The one anecdote that I'll share that I've shared with Melissa before is that literally day one of casting, back in probably the first week of February. I'm in LA. We had casting directors in LA and New York. You assume it's going to take a month to cast your show. And literally day one, within like 6 minutes of us starting casting, right? Melissa Roxborough walks in and runs these 2 scenes and says thank you and walks out. And I look at my executive producer sitting next to me and we go, that was pretty good. But it's only been 6 minutes. Could that have been the person? Well, there she was. She came in the first morning, and sometimes it's just serendipity. And so, my goodness, Melissa just kind of popped out of the sky, and then casting, had begun, and then just, one after another, we found these wonderful people, and you were in New York at the time, you were in Toronto at the time, you were in LA at the time, and Parveen was, I want to say, in Toronto at the time, and so people were spread out all over, and some people sat 5 feet away from me, some people threw an audition on a tape, and you watch it, on the internet, and it just has to, click. And my goodness, just, boom, 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 just, clicked to a person. And I'm sure you all agree, the reason people are connecting with the show is because you connect with the characters. I mean, the plot is a cool construct, it's a fascinating mystery, but that's not why the show is succeeding. The show is succeeding because, I believe, because you all and everyone else who watches the show connects emotionally to my colleagues sitting here, and so I'm indebted, to them.